begin, we'll be introducing the Indigenous Students Liaison candidates. We'd like to welcome Riley Simmons if they're here. Next, we'd like to introduce the International Business Association candidates. Is Amisha Maini here? And then next we'll do Education, Health, and Human Development representatives. We're looking for Kamaya Nikonam and Morgan Sands, if either of you guys are in the building. And then Queer Students Liaison, we're looking for Saksham Kapoor, Veda Maharaj, and Hargun for Sodhi, please. If any of you guys are here, come on up. Feel free to take any of these seats.
Hi, I'm Veda.
Great. Do you mind letting us know why you think you'd be a good candidate for the position?
Sure. So my name is Veda Maharaj. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm going for the career liaison position. I think that I would be a good person for this role because I've been very involved and passionately involved in the queer community my whole life. As you may notice, I am trans feminine, and I am also pansexual. Forgotten my own sexuality for a second there. Yeah, and my whole life I've really wanted to explore the stories and the lives of people going through these dysphoria, sexuality, exploration, and telling their stories. It's been a really great journey, and I've gotten the chance to meet a lot of wonderful people, and I feel like that experience is really instrumental to making positive change for our community. At the same time, I'm also been very involved in the more leadership administration roles. I was one of the co-head editors on my school's yearbook, and I also stage managed a few of our school's annual productions for 2 years in a row. So it's a really lovely overlap of arts and non-arts, which I think is really the perfect combination for someone who wants to make positive change in the queer community at CAP. So yeah,
that's wonderful. So what's something that you think the CSU is doing that you would like to change or that you would like to see improved in the future?
Right. Well, some of you may know about this wonderful resource that the CSU offers called the Career Resource Center. Now, the Career Resource Center is one of the key support systems that they offer the queer community at Capilano University. And it's really interesting because historically, it's been a really well-utilized resource. It's helped to nourish our community and, let us thrive. We meet people, we have a safe place, we know we are welcome here. But then COVID happened, and it really just shut down, and it never really came back after that. There just hasn't been as much engagement with the queer community in general, and that's reflected very explicitly in the Career Resource Center. A lot of the first, second years that I've been meeting that are queer have never heard of the Career Resource Center. You go in and there's rarely ever people there. I go in about 3 to 4 times a week, just do some studying, and there will often be 1 or 2 other people, and it's cozy, but it's also it's not what it could be, because it's thriving, it's pulsing with potential, and that is just not being seen. And what's funny is, even though it is very underused, a lot of the resources that are promised to be there are very much not in stock, ever. If you ever go in there and you see the soap bottle, it's got oh, provided by the Capilano Students Union. And if you ever see it full, you are blessed, because it is never full. You've got these resource bins that are really neatly labeled. They're color coordinated. They're so pretty and inviting. And it's like, oh yes, STI information, WLW information, MLM information, and unlubed condoms, lubed condoms, lube. And then you look at them, and the only things that are actually stocked are lubed condoms and lube. And it was funny. A few weeks ago, I was in the career center studying with a few friends, and someone came in. One of the staff members came in and was like, "Hey, none of these bins are filled. I better, email someone about this." And we were like, "That sounds like a great idea. Look at you taking initiative to do something about this." They emailed the Capilano Students Union and was like, "The Career Center needs a restock." And they left because they had other arrangements. And then this a few minutes, like about 10 minutes later, this guy comes in, and sweet guy, great guy. He's obviously doing here to help. And he comes in, he says, "The Queer Resource Center needs a restock," and he's carrying lubed condoms and lube. And which is great. If there was everything else also being given the same attention, and it's not. So we've got this problem where queer engagement is at an all-time low, and even though there's less people using the resources, there's still not enough resources for the few people who are using them. So what I want to do, I want to fix both those problems, because they do go hand in hand. We can't just increase engagement and then not have anything there for them, and we can't just have a bounty of resources if no one knows where to access them. So those are my two campaign goals for becoming the Queer Liaison.
Wonderful, thank you for sharing. So if elected in this position, what would be the first thing that you would do to improve these problems?
The very first thing that I would do, I would schedule a meeting, and I would sit down with whoever on the CSU needs to be having this conversation with, and ask them what apparently for how to speak English. Just talk to them about getting these resources that are promised. Because there's a lot of promises. It's a very lovely, shiny looking system that we should be able to be provided with all of these resources, and there's just not enough follow through on that. So there needs to be accountability for the people who are making these promises at the CSU, that there's going to be all these resources, and who are not actually providing these resources. So I'm sure it wouldn't be a very simple fix. If it was a simple fix, then why wouldn't we have these resources? But it really is just speaking to a lack of commitment and a lack of follow through, which is probably due to a lack of accountability. So holding them accountable for their promises would be the first thing that I would get started on, because again, we can't just invite more people into the Queer Resource Center if there's no resources for them.
Thank you for sharing. Any final notes that you would like to share?
There's the queer community at Capilano University is one of the strongest and vastest that I've ever seen. Yeah. And we really, there is so much power in community, and I feel like that is not being realized. The community is not being built for us to really thrive. I came to Cap this year, and I didn't know how I would be received. I didn't know if I would have the supports and the safety that I needed to truly thrive in this environment. And it's like, there absolutely are those resources, but there's not enough awareness of those resources and those support systems that are available to especially new queer students who are coming. There's so many opportunities to have building community, to integrate new students and have them be truly welcomed and thriving on campus, that we're not taking advantage of. I don't want there to be new queer students coming to campus and not knowing if they will be safe here.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much for your time.
Any chance Saksham Kapoor is also in the house? Okay.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hargun and I go by she and her pronouns. I'm at my third semester at CapU. I'm pursuing an associate's degree in psychology. Associate's degree in arts with psychology as my major. I think that should be enough for an introduction.
Wonderful. Okay. What is something that you feel that the CSU is not doing, and what would you wish that they would do?
First of all, I would really agree with the previous candidate about the Queer Resource Center. It was one of my major concerns as well, because it's my third semester here. I've been here like almost every week since spring, and it is only recently that I actually got to know about the Queer Resource Center. I mean, it's great that it exists, but if there's no awareness about it, there's no point, right? And the previous candidate really explained it so beautifully, and I was kind of really cheering you on for that. Another thing that I really kind of feel is lacking is there's a very strong barrier between the CSU, the CSU board of members and the students. Even though the board of members are actually there for the students, even though like whenever we do something, there's emails and we approach people to social media, but I feel like that's not enough, because a lot of students really do feel like, it's just they come to us once a year, once every 6 months, they get the votes and then they're gone. There's no connection. There's no connection outside social media. They don't feel like they could approach us. So I think getting that one-on-one connection with the students and making them feel like we are there for them, that they can approach people whenever there's something wrong in their life or whenever they're going through a hard time. It's really one of the things that we need to first establish before doing anything else.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
No worries.
And what would be the very first course of action that you would take if elected?
I don't want to sound repetitive, but it was actually the same as the previous candidate with the Queer Resource Center. I really, really wish that it was more engaging than it currently is. Also with like the current political climate, it's not just CapU, it's like the entirety of country that we're having protests against us for like education and all of that. And what we really, really need now is some real solid safe spaces, some real impact on mental health. And we do have counseling services, which it's good that we do. But in my personal experience, I haven't really found them very accessible. And it's just a general counsel, like group of counselors that we have for everyone. We don't have anything specific for queer people and their specific needs. So I would really wish we have more of those. We need more safe spaces, not just for queer people, but all marginalized groups that need to be seen, that need to be represented. I'm not even sure if the counselors we have are queer themselves. Okay. So that's there. So yeah, and what I feel like is the CSU has actually done a lot. Kudos to you guys. They are doing a lot. I was so excited when I came here and I got to know that there's gender neutral washrooms here. I told all my friends about it, but I didn't even know it's you guys doing it. So there's this severe lack of approach again. So there's lack of connection, lack of safe spaces, lack of mental health services. They're not accessible. I think those are a few things that I would really be concerned about.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Any final notes that you would like to add?
It's sorry. I was kind of, it's a big deal for me. When I came here, coming to a first world country would make you think that you're more accepted here, that you wouldn't have to fight for yourself, you wouldn't really need to elaborate and tell people who you are and this is how it works. But I've had to experience it a lot more than I did back in India. So I feel like even though we're taking all these big measures with the gender neutral washrooms and everything, which are great, people don't know why they're necessary. People don't know why gender neutral language is necessary. People don't know how things work out. A lot of people didn't have the privilege back home to really know about it. A lot of people back home they didn't have that exposure where they would know about it, and that really manifests itself. That has manifested in, I've had to lose most of my relationships ever since I signed up for this. So many of my brown friends, they were just not accepting of me, and I was forced to come out for entertainment and all of that, and some really, really triggering experiences. And it's like, for me, it's very emotionally draining, but that also explains me that, what we really need is to sensitize people a lot more. It's not like those people are bad people. They're not doing it because nobody really wants to do terrible things. But people do it, and they do it unknowingly. And it's sad that it happened to me, and I really don't want it to happen to anybody else. And I really, really, really take this position seriously, because I just came out to everyone. I'm internally shaking, and nobody's really knowing about it. And I don't want other brown queers to suffer like that. The intersectionality I have with my queerness and my brown identity, it's a lot more painful. I want people from third world countries or anywhere else that they come from, I want them to feel safe. I want them to come and know that, coming to a first world country really means that you're safe. I want them to be happy. I mean, queer joy is equally important as queer struggle, and I want us to celebrate ourselves more. And as the previous one said, we're literally so strong. we are literally so strong, and we really just need some support, and we're capable. And do we have more than one queer seat in the Board of Elections?
That is a good question. We should know that.
There's definitely a need for a lot more representation than we currently have. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Our final section is going to be the mature and parent student liaison. If by any chance Emily Kelsall is here, please feel free to take one of the seats. If Shourya Sharma is here, and if Yaseen Singh is here, no problem. Okay. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
Feel free to introduce yourself as well as pronouns if you'd like to share.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Emily Kelsall. My pronouns are she and they, and I'm a fifth-generation settler who lives on Squamish territory.
What is something that you feel like the CSU is not doing adequately that you would like to change if elected?
Okay, so first of all, I want to really acknowledge what the CSU is doing. It's quite a lot. I was really impressed with all the initiatives the CSU has taken, specifically the medical dental plan. Huge burden off of students' shoulders. It's incredible. The free food program, also awesome. The tech doctor, awesome. One thing I really want CSU to do is push CAP to divest from fossil fuels. We've all seen the forest fires, the atmospheric rivers, the killing off of millions of species, and thousands upon thousands of people being dislocated from their homes. We're paying a lot of money to go here, and that money should be going towards making our lives better, not more difficult for us and the people that we love.
Yeah. So if elected, what's the first step that you would take to make that a possibility?
Sure, yeah. So there's a couple things that I want to do. When it comes to divestment, the first thing I want to do is really look into what is CapU investing in. I've done some investigation already. They're not super transparent about that. I've looked at the documents online briefly. I've called people. I've sent emails. So the first thing I want to do is keep following up on that to find out how much of our money is invested in fossil fuels, and specifically what projects or through what companies. The second thing I want to do is I want to find out who are we banking with, who are our investments being made through. If it's RBC, we seriously need to change that. I've had some conversations with my advisor at Van City, and Van City's not perfect, but they don't directly invest through fossil fuels. So I would be interested in finding out what sort of portfolios can we invest in. I'd want to talk to business students specifically, because while we're making this case to CapU, I want it to be a win-win. So win because we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting the planet and the land that we love, and a win because we want to be investing in projects that are hopefully gonna, make money to support our campus, and also projects that are going to do good. So I would really like to collaborate with a group of students who are interested in environmental issues, but also interested in the business side of things to really make this a reality. Yep, and then just start talking to the presidents. And if they say no, we escalate. If they say yes, great, fantastic. And the other thing I really want to accomplish is getting a rapid bus from Surrey to campus. A lot of students come here from Surrey, and it takes like 2 hours. I see nods. Okay, like the whole room's nodding. Yeah, 2 hours every day to get to campus, which is ridiculous, and to go home. Our UBC has a great 99B line, which is super fun to ride. Doo-doo-doo. I love that sound. It's great. I want a 98, 97, 100 bus that is going to take people from either Surrey to campus or from a SkyTrain station along the route to campus. And in order to make that happen, the first thing I want to do is talk to TransLink. We actually have a professor, last name Dixon, who was a president on the BC Transit Board, and I sent him an email, and he seems great. So talking to him would be a great first step. Then talking to TransLink, getting students to sign a petition, again, creating a group of dedicated students who want to make this a reality, and finding out what the barriers are to making this happen, and then removing the barriers. Yep.
That's wonderful. And what initiatives would you like to take to create that group of students that you were talking about?
Sure. So an easy thing to do would be put up posters, talk to students on campus, find 3 to 5 students who are really interested in making this happen, and slowly introduce them to the world of advocacy, because part of advocacy isn't just getting things done, but it's also about empowering people to show them that they can get things done and that we can make change if we really put our minds to it. So I think getting that group of people together is just as important as actually making the thing happen. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Any final notes that you have?
Sure. So I really want to let students know that when I say that I can advocate for change, I really mean it. That's a huge part of my identity and what I've been doing my whole life. I've been an activist since I was 14 years old, making speeches to city councils. I got the West Vancouver to align their climate targets with IPCC. I've successfully organized my friends to initiate talks with the Vancouver City Council to stop their home from getting rent-evicted, or at least protect the trees at the very minimum. And this January, actually, I went to court and I spent 18 days in prison because I had been peacefully protesting the Trans Mountain Pipeline. And I did that in a giant inflatable T-Rex suit, because if you're gonna challenge the system, you might as well have fun while doing it. And it was great. In court, I hid a T-Rex mask in my shirt, and I was giving my speech to the judge, Justice Fitzpatrick, and I pulled it out, which is a big no-no. I put it on my head, and I was like, rawr, 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 growl, growl, snow, snow. And she freaked out. She's like, clear the court, take that off this second, Miss Kelsall. And everyone was cheering, and it was so great to see all these people that are made to sit and be quiet while injustice is taking place, to hear them yell and cry and say, "Where's the justice?" and laugh and clap. It was amazing. And I got 7 extra days in jail, but it was worth it. That's the important thing. So I want students to know when I say that I'm not afraid to advocate for you, I'm not afraid to stand up for you, I mean it. I stand behind my words, and I'm confident we can get things done because I've seen them get done in the past. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Shourya Sharma and I am pursuing an Associate of Arts and I am running for the position of Mature and Parent Student Liaison. This is my second SEM and I have a strong commitment for the students' upliftment and finding interest of your needs.
Wonderful. What is something that you feel the CSU is doing now that you would like to improve in the future?
I think that CSU is doing really great. That they do really have some great ideas, but they are not focusing on the mature and parent students. Like basically they are not getting the opportunities to meet and greet. So we would start to create some events and also look upon it. And one thing I personally feel that the CSU has now more focus on the international students and they have a bit of, I'm sorry. I feel that they are not focused the international students and now they are out of the spotlight. So I really need the CSU to hold upon the domestic students also, as they are also the part of the student family.
Yeah, absolutely. What actions would you like to take to rectify this issue?
The actions I would like to rectify is that I would do surveys and we should do intensive research so that we can act upon our words, and we will make sure that they should also feel like they are part of the university as like the international students, and there should be no impartiality.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final notes that you would like to add?
I guess that I will start a leadership that listens. We have to have, during my campaigns, a lot of students told me that the people who are in the CSU, they are not doing the work as designated. So we need them to work wisely, and it's only the students who can make them work because we have only elected them. So it's the perspective of the students that we need to feel and make a change in the community.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Next, we would like to call up the candidates for the Capilano Business and Professional Society. Yeah, let's do, if Priya is here, we'll begin with you for the Capilano Legal Association President. Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Could you please start by introducing yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Priya McMurtrie. I am a second-year business student, and I use she/her pronouns.
Wonderful. And if elected, what would make you a good candidate for this position?
That's a great question. I firmly believe that the law is a tool, and as an institution, we have an incredible opportunity to facilitate cross-faculty integration using the law. That means having conferences, learning opportunities, and networking events that provide information on how to utilize the law and the legal system for each profession that will leave this school. If we don't, we're fundamentally failing students by not providing them the adequate resources that they need to succeed in their career.
Wonderful. What are the first steps that you would like to do to make this happen?
Absolutely. So I think with the creation of the team that I've formed, because I've been in the role as an acting president for the past few weeks, we've started to form a plan for a few events and are organizing our connections and network to facilitate some real-world experiences for students. The first event being end of October, having a Q&A with lawyers. It'll be Halloween themed, it'll be super fun. Followed by a copyright and intellectual property law seminar. I have a background, I'm a musician by background, and oftentimes I see in the industry a lot of new musicians getting manipulated and taken advantage of by producers, studios, etc. And the music program we have here at CAP is amazing, but I think we are doing music students a disservice by not teaching them how to protect themselves and by not providing them the necessary connections and resources needed to do that.
That's a really interesting take. What action would you like to do to make that possible for music students?
Absolutely. So first, I would organize a network of entertainment lawyers who will come in and create a conference of sorts and facilitate connections and provide information to our music students. Having it lecture-based with a networking section at the end of this conference is highly valuable because you really get to connect with these lawyers. Law can be very daunting, especially to someone who is a musician or is not really an academic. So breaking down those barriers and letting people feel connected to the law in a sort of way is what I think is highly valuable.
Thank you. Any final notes that you would like to add?
Yeah, I fully intend on going to law school after my undergrad, so I will also be organizing an LSAT prep organization that will provide students discounted study materials and study instruction.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we would like to invite Yaseen Shivji from the Capilano Accounting Association. Thank you. Wonderful. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Yaseen Shivji. I am in my third year at Capilano University in the BBA program, concentrating in accounting, and I'm running for the Capilano Accounting Association president.
Definitely. What actions would you like to take if elected in this position?
Yeah, so I have been involved in the association since about January of last year, and I've been here for a couple years pre-COVID, so I sort of saw what the association was doing before and what happened to it during COVID, and things have sort of settled down and there isn't a lot going on. So last year was really a big push to sort of reintroduce the association and get students involved. So I ran a networking event and I ended up being brought on board as acting president of the association now. And this year we've come up with a really great plan of events to increase student engagement across all faculties. One big event that we're planning on coming up in November is a business case competition that's sort of open to all students and across all faculties. And it's just a great way for them to get some exposure and practice some of the knowledge they've learned in their courses. It's also a great opportunity to meet other students within the school and see job opportunities that's not sort of in that specific faculty and elsewhere, yeah.
Definitely. And what work would you like to do to promote these events and also gain awareness for the association?
Yeah, so what we're planning on doing is creating a subscription that's coming up in about the next week or so, so everybody keep an eye out on that. But we really want to increase student engagement. So leading up into the fall time, like in the springtime, is we're looking to do resume writing and cover letter workshops to help prep students who are looking to go into the CPA program and to go through that recruitment cycle, but also students in other areas of faculty. A lot of accounting firms nowadays offer multiple services. It's not just accounting. So there's consulting jobs, there's consulting in risk, there's consulting in management. So there's a lot of opportunities for students that aren't specifically in the business program to get jobs. So a really big thing for me is creating those opportunities, giving students the knowledge so that when they're going into these events that we host or that other firms are hosting, they're prepared, and that CAP students shine. This is a teaching school. We have small classroom sizes. We should really be taking that to our advantage and creating strong networks for students so that they're not struggling. I think that's a really big thing that I've noticed and seen, and that's a really big change I want to make.
That's great. Thank you so much. Any final notes that you would like to add?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it, that I've been here for a while, and I just really want to help support the students the best way that I can. So whether it's networking events, if there's other events that you guys would like to host that involve other faculties, or if there's other things that are occurring around the school that are interested and the association can help out, I think that's a really great opportunity for us to collaborate. People in numbers are successful. The more people, the better. And if we're able to find ways to collaborate and work together, will be so much more successful moving forward. So yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
thank you very much.
Great. Those are all of the candidates that we have on the docket. I will call the names that we missed one more time, just in case anybody is missing. Otherwise, I think that is everything. Thank you. Okay. So just to reiterate, we are calling Riley Simmons, Amisha Mayani, Kamia Nikuman, and Morgan Sands, if anyone there is here. Okay. Wonderful. And just to reiterate my